I just finished 6.25-mile run. Why do some people look so cute when they run? I mean, I've got my...
Move, bitch! Get out of my fucking way! It's Black History Month!
Hello everyone, Disaster Wolf Art here, and happy Black History Month. Today I'm going to be talking about yet another controversial issue because I just can't help myself apparently. I swear one day someone is going to try to cancel me. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about being black in the art community. And before anyone assumes anything or has anything to ask, don't let Wolfie's hair fool you. Yeah, I'm black. Yeah.
Hold your fire! This man is black! What?
Disclaimer, this video is mostly just my own personal opinions. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or how to think, it's just my own personal perspective. Also heads up, I'm going to be talking about racism and I'm going to be pointing out things that I take issue with in the art community. Oh, and there's also a little bit of cussing.
Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
If you don't want to hear about that stuff, I suggest that you skip this video. I promise I won't be talking about controversial topics in my next one, I just want to spread some information, that's all. But with that being said, let's get started.
And I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black.
So, I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. Surprisingly, I haven't really had to deal with racism in the art community, personally. Don't get me wrong, I've had to deal with racial profiling and general racism in real life, but I never really had to deal with it in the art community on a personal level. Though, in all fairness, I'm not that big of a creator on social media, so most people probably don't even know about me anyway. So, because of my own experience, you'd think that I'd say that racism isn't a problem in the art community, right?
No.
The amount of crap that I see in the art community that's just straight up racist is crazy. So I'm here to complain about it and hopefully let y'all know what's going on. Also, I know my brand isn't exactly me complaining about stuff, but hey, there's a first time for everything.
Did you enjoy yourself? I know I didn't. I did not watching that. I wanted to gouge my own eyes out.
So I guess a good place to start would be social media in general. Social media has played a massive role in the art community. With the rise of social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, artists of all kinds can post their work and get tons of feedback and recognition. This type of thing is really great for all artists, ranging from the ones that just want to make art for their job, to the ones who just want to have fun and post their drawings. It's great, except for one fact that, I have a bit of an issue with. The problem that I have is that the people who run these platforms seem to not really care about the artists who use them. Specifically the black ones in this case. They'll let tons of racist and problematic things slide, but the second the artist claps back a little bit, they get banned or get a warning for hate speech. Now, I don't know if you guys know who I'm actually referencing right now, specifically, but let me just say it, I'm referencing Thuman. Yeah, I know a lot of people have talked about this, and you guys are probably sick of hearing it if you know about the whole Thuman situation. But for some reason I feel the need to jump on the bandwagon about 2 to 3 years later. So, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Thuman is a black artist on YouTube who posted a drawing of herself on Twitter dressed as Kiki from Kiki's Magical Delivery Service. And it's honestly really cute. But fast forward a little bit and her Twitter comment section is flooded with a bunch of racist bullshit, calling her slurs and in the same breath claiming that she's the racist in the situation, for literally drawing herself. Not to mention the numerous death threats and racist art that she was sent by these random assholes in her private DMs on Twitter and Instagram. The comments and DMs are so freaking bad that I don't even want to show it in my video, but if you want to see it, Thuman posted all these things on Twitter. I plan on leaving a few of the links in my description. So, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, she can just report it and the comments and DMs will be handled. Boom, that's it. It's a really positive assumption, but it's also a very ineffective one because she did report it multiple times, but all she was met with was automated messages saying that they would look into it, and nothing after that. The comments stayed up, and when Thuman started talking about it publicly, they started sending her warnings for hate speech. The saddest part about all of this is that this poor girl had to sit there and deal with the racist comments long before she even talked about the video. And not even just with the kiki stuff. My point of bringing all of this up is to point out the clear signs of the flat out lack of concern and empathy that these platforms tend to have for creators. And that's not to say that they themselves are racist, but the people that run these platforms are at best incredibly lackadaisical when dealing with these situations.
And I started thinking to myself, man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
Oh boy, time to talk about race bending. So a lot of people are fighting on the internet, wow shocker, about race bending. To those of you who don't know, race bending is basically when you just take a character of one race or ethnicity and switch it to a different one. This can happen with literally anyone, but it typically gets talked about between black and white people. Some people will argue that race bending is just fundamentally problematic from any side. And a lot of people are especially vocal about it when it comes to anime characters being switched to black. So much so that they tend to switch black characters to white and then claim it's the same principle. And spoiler alert, it's not.
Let me explain.
So we all know about trends like Blacktober, and the question is, why does it exist? Well, long story short, it's because black people have had so little decent representation in the media that we enjoy that people have decided to come up with headcanons and AUs of the characters being black. I'll get into why this is somewhat misguided in a minute, but before I do, let me explain the thought process behind it. Notice how I said headcanons and AUs and not us genuinely thinking that these people are black. Like, come on, nobody really thinks that Piccolo and Mina are black. It's just for fun. And seriously, if y'all want to make the argument that this shit is good representation, I don't know what to tell you, because at that point, I just can't help you. Now I do get that caricatures exist and that's fine, but when everyone else looks normal and the only ones who look weird are a single group of people, something just don't sit right with me. And even though we slowly got out of that phase of the menstrual cartoons and all that, we still got stuck with clips like this.
Look what happened to my hair! Normally it's straight! I was just walking down the hall when poof! My whole head of hair puffed up just like that! Oh.
Who the fuck okayed this?
Yeah, y'all see my issue? Keep in mind, this is what the character normally looks like. But my issue isn't the fact that she normally looks like this. My issue is the fact that this is treated like a bad thing. Oh, and disclaimer, I don't watch the Winx Club as a whole. I did watch Fate, but that's a whole different conversation. But I did actually watch the entirety of this episode just for this video, and spoiler alert, there is literally no further context to this, and it's immediately dropped like it's nothing. Aisha got cursed by the tricks, which basically made her hair into an afro, which kind of makes natural black hair seem like it's a bad thing, for some reason. Not to mention the fact that this is the same show that apparently did this. I could honestly spend forever talking about representation in cartoons and anime, but then this video would just be way too long, so maybe I'll talk about it in the future. Also, before anybody starts to complain, I know we've been getting better with this, but y'all have to understand that we only just started getting better representation in recent years. Now, white people on the other hand have literally never had this issue. They've always had plenty of variety and representation, and they'll almost never not be included in something. It's an indisputable fact at this point. So for a white person to edit a POC character and change their race to white, it doesn't have the same effect or reason to exist. Not to mention the fact that nowadays whitewashing is usually a result of someone trying to prove their point about the hate blackwashing. But again, blackwashing doesn't hold the same weight because of the reason for its existence. Again, I'll talk about why it's misguided in a second. But I'm not saying that race bending characters to black is good or bad, I'm just saying that it usually doesn't have the same reasoning behind it as race bending characters to white. And I know that it doesn't technically erase black characters either since it's not really canon, but again, it's still usually accompanied by some racist shit. Also, real quick, I noticed that some people were saying that Thuman deserved the racist comments because she was blackwashing and taking away Asian representation, which is stupid. First of all, it's innocent fan art that's not in any way canon, and she's literally drawing herself as Kiki. Let me just say that drawing yourself as the character is not race bending. This applies to everyone. I can draw myself as Scott Pilgrim any day of the week, and David from down the street can draw himself as Kaz Khan. It's not actually race bending, it's literally just putting yourself in the character's clothes. So it doesn't count. Race bending is debatable at best, but if you actually feel the need to get mad at someone for drawing themselves as a cartoon character, you've got some stuff that you really need to work out. It should go without saying, but I feel like somebody really needs to hear it. Oh yeah, and this whole wave of fixing art that's been going on lately, especially on Twitter, it's not the move either. Not only is it really, really rude, it also is just weird and the not wholesome kind. Innocent race bending is one thing, but when you say that it's objectively better because you change the skin tone of a character, you just look dumb. Like, I'm not giving you a cookie, nigga. It's not happening. And this goes for both sides, trolling or not. I'm not going to go into any more detail about this because I really don't feel like I should have to tell you guys why it's a problematic mindset to have. It's kind of obvious. But back to the whole reason as to why race bending fan art doesn't always make sense. Some people both in and outside of the black community argue that race bending doesn't really help with representation since it's only headcanons and fan art. And they'd be right to say that. Me drawing Goku as a black guy does not count as legitimate representation. It's not canon and it's only fan art. You'd assume a better way to fix this issue is just to make more stories featuring black people from the jump and make our own representation, right? Well, yes, of course, this is true. But now we have another issue. See, whenever we do make our own stories, racist people still want to make it a problem. For instance, we have black characters existing in manga and comics, and then you get stuff like this. Now, I know this is probably a troll, but I really don't care, and it doesn't change the issue. A lot of people go way too far with this for the sake of being edgy and funny, but I don't really think that blatant racism is the wave. And if this is your default humor, all I gotta say is,
You need to see a therapist and get off social media. Yeah, ma'am.
there's some things that you just don't do in my opinion. And even if you do ignore the actual trolls, there are still people who genuinely have issue with black characters existing and being the main characters of stories. So we've established that people don't like changing characters' skin color to dark-skinned or anything like that, but they also don't like it when we have characters that started off as black in the first place sometimes. And we can't draw ourselves as other characters anymore, apparently. So my question is, what do people really want from black artists? Now, I really cannot speak for every non-black person, and I don't think that they all think the same way, but the only answer I can really think of in this situation is that some people just don't want us to exist in the media at all. I hate to say it, but some people are just plain racist and just want something to complain about. And some of those racists want to excuse themselves by claiming it was dark humor, but they're just being assholes. Now, that's not to say that everyone has this issue. Honestly, I feel like it's a super loud minority at this point, and there are genuinely interesting and good arguments to be made about this whole thing. Of course, I still have my own opinions, and I'm willing to debate about it to get other perspectives. But the only thing that I really have to say about the racists is,
Fuck 'em, fuck.
I'm normally for all that kumbaya type stuff, but sometimes people just suck and I'm tired of seeing it.
As much as we wanted to, it could never be! Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black!
So, I know that most people don't really think about cosplay when talking about art, but let's be real. With the amount of work that they put into their craft, it deserves to be categorized as an art form in my opinion. But I'm gonna still keep this section short because I know most people aren't really thinking about it like that. Anyways, I feel like the cosplay community tends to have the same general issues as the art community, especially when it comes to racism. When a black cosplayer posts a picture of their costumes, they tend to get one of two types of comments. The first one is your normal types of comments, like, oh, this is cool, or oh, you look great, which again is normal when any cosplayer makes a good and interesting cosplay. But the other one is the weird people, who feel the need to say, this character is not black, or dressing up as your OC isn't cosplay. Oh, and if you think I'm joking or exaggerating, I'm not. Someone deadass said this about this cosplay. I mean, like, look at this! This is so good! Now some of you might be thinking to yourselves, oh, this isn't even that bad. It's just a few ignorant comments. And that's partially true. It's just a few comments, but it does reveal an underlying issue of racism and ignorance that is more prevalent than you think in every community. And when you constantly get comments like this, it can be pretty discouraging. And it also shows that no matter how good of a cosplayer you may be, a lot of people will still only see your race and not your talents. Now on the flip side, white people cosplay tons of anime characters, including the Asian ones, which, believe it or not, is the majority of anime characters. Go figure, huh? But they don't get any kind of judgment for it, which I find interesting. Now, do I think that they should get called out for cosplaying non-white characters? Hell no. That's dumb. Like, seriously, it's stupid. The whole point of cosplay is to literally dress up as someone that you're not because you love and appreciate the characters and the stories that they're in. They should be allowed to cosplay who they want as long as they keep it respectful, just like everyone else does. Like, just don't go and try to change your features in a way that seems racist, like blackface or trying to make your eyes slanted or something. You know, like the bare minimum. All I'm saying is that we need to keep the same energy when it comes to black cosplayers. Let black people cosplay who they want, just like how y'all let the white people cosplay who they want. It's simple as that.
You guys act like you've never heard people say this before. It's just because I'm gonna step. I'm actually gonna say what everyone else is thinking, because it's the truth. But I'll say it.
So, what is my conclusion about the art community as a whole? Well...
all y'all going ahead. What? You at...
Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, the art community still has a lot of work to do to fix this mess from every side. Now, despite everything that I said, I don't think that the art community as a whole is racist. I think that these people who actually engage in making racist comments and sending death threats are an extremely loud minority, like I said earlier. I also can't stand the people who act holier than thou just because they recolored fictional characters to be dark-skinned for clout. If you want to do that for fun, then like whatever, I guess, but don't sit here and pretend like that's actually doing something for representation. It doesn't, unfortunately. But what I will say is this: we as a community need to stop letting certain things slide, and we need to better ourselves in order to make the community a better place for everybody. And this video is not meant to say that I hate the art community or to say that everyone is racist. Far from it. It was made because I love the art community and I want to see it become better for everyone, regardless of your background. But what do you think about this topic? I'm all good with criticism and debates in the comments, but please just keep it respectful, that's all I ask. And like I said earlier, I promise the next video I post will not be social commentary. I don't want to be some drama channel or anything. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it, or at least thought it was interesting. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and slap that little gray bell so you get all the new notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!